mezcal to make out.
This is the closest I'll come to a Latina. This is the...
Don't think about me as the representation of my country, please.
Everyone looks angry all the time.
No, they don't.
Listen to Billy Joel.
Okay, are we recording?
We are recording. I mean, this is the way we start.
And we usually drink it with like.
This is the most action Aryan's had in months. What do you do?
Give the finger. I love doing that. Like
you did this?
Yeah, and I don't feel like I'm doing it on purpose to offend somebody. So I always have pictures, and they're the best pictures. And I always get an Instagram message from my sisters like, delete that. Why are you like that? You should be ashamed.
I've taken to flashing the peace sign.
Yeah.
I think that's
also the flash should not be with me. It looks like I'm the alcoholic.
I'm the alcoholic and the smoke addict.
You're the guest. You're the guest once.
Can I smoke my vape during the interview? Yeah. Shows my anxiety.
I think if we ask you a particularly tough question, you should exhale like a huge cloud of smoke and it disappear.
It's about to finish, but I can try doing it.
It's like your last boyfriend. It's a cloud of smoke and she just disappears. Okay. Wow, we haven't done this in a while, so I've forgotten like the things that.
We start. Let me tell you, I prepared.
No, please. You want to take over?
We should do a cheers.
Cheers
to Aryan, who said he was not going to drink, but he is drinking.
I mean, now you guys are drinking.
Thank you for that.
Of course.
Do that.
All right, we are set. Episode number 9. We're doing episode number 9. We're back to season 2, guys. This is season 2 of the podcast. So technically, episode number 1 of season 2.
I'm premiering the season.
Yeah, you're premiering.
I feel so honored. Thank you.
You're opening the fresh meat all over again. Nobody asked for it, but we're here again.
It's not so fresh anymore.
It's not fresh anymore.
It's aged meat.
I'm sorry. I'm old meat. I've been in the fridge for a while.
No, we're all second years, so this is the first podcast as official second years. It feels very weird. But we are back. We're back with a vengeance. We're back with a beautiful guest. And we're back with a lot more stories. And we shall start with the icebreaker.
So the question goes, it's 6 a.m. You've been up all night doing whatever it is people do until 6 in the morning.
Okay.
And then you decide to go for a drive to clear your head because you're not sleepy. And you're driving down the highway and you put on a song. What's the song?
To be clear, I'm sober if I'm driving, yeah?
I hope so, yes.
Yeah, okay.
We'll
say I'm awake because of insomnia.
or it could be a self-driving car in the near future, so you're allowed to be in control of the car even if you...
My Tesla, yeah. So I'm in my Tesla.
Put the message here, like, don't drink and drive.
I would be playing Vienna by Billy Joel. I don't know if you've heard that song.
Can we put it in?
I can put it in my phone if you want. But the thing is, it's more about. I mean, it's a nice melody, but it's more about. It's gonna be
the lyrics.
The lyrics.
What is the song about?
So it starts saying like, "Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile." It's like a very deep lyric, like about saying like you have enough time, like try to enjoy and be in the present. And I feel very identified because I'm so anxious and I'm like always going so fast in life, and my mind is always running so fast that if I listen to that song, it's like you can
calm down.
Pause for a moment and be like, okay, I have time to do everything. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm not in the same pace as everybody. Because I feel like that's why I've always been going so fast. Like, when I was a kid, like, I always wanted to be going to parties and I still didn't have permission to go out, you know, and it would be like, my parents would be like, why do you want to do things that are not, like, for your age? Like, wait until, you know, it's the time. And I feel it's been like that for everything, and so...
So that song is basically... it appeals most to you because it's like the singer is talking to you to be like...
Yeah, it's like my psychologist like saying like, slow the fuck down, you know. We still have time.
Really, Joe is your psychologist? That must be expensive.
He doesn't know it yet, but yeah.
Giving you free therapy at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, so that's...
And where are you driving? Like, let's say, like, what would you pick? Because you picked a song which is so peaceful and so calm for you.
I don't know if I have, like, a specific setting, or if it would be a highway, but, like, you remember the trip we made to Formentera? Mm-hmm. And I was driving a lot during that trip. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed, like, the streets in the little town, and then, like, going, like, seeing the sunset. So when he told me, like, what song you see yourself, like, driving in the morning, it would be, like, in that sunrise. Or the boat arrives in Formentera and just being in the car.
But you're not going to pick up, like, 6 people, 6...
No, this time no. It's just me, myself, and I.
Because I
was so annoyed.
That time. Like,
I think they invited me to that trip to be the chauffeur, because it was like, come pick me up, come drive me to this place. This person's too drunk. I'm like, oh my god, when am I going to enjoy, you know? Maybe I should have put the song by...
You should have put the song that time. Nice, interesting. So that I'm trying to think of. So I've used songs as a way to. Songs have a big influence in my life. Like,
I think in everybody's, like, and it's a problem because sometimes people fuck up songs for you.
No,
and then
there's someone I knew. Obviously, I can't name that person. I remember she was like, I don't listen to songs, and I can't fathom, like, how do you listen to songs. She didn't have Spotify. She didn't have any, like, music apps, and so. There are people who don't listen to songs at all. But there are also people who would listen to songs to just enjoy in the moment. But for me, I think songs have the same kind of influence they have for you. Where, if it's in the mood, I pick a song that lifts my mood. I pick a song that, makes me feel happy. I don't know if you I kind of imagine you as also a very deep, poetic person who will pick a song.
I keep it under wraps.
You keep it under wraps? Maybe on a new episode.
No, definitely, like... I think this might be going out on a limb, but I think it depends what kind of teenager you were. Some people, I think a teenager, like, connecting to a song that you love as a teenager is, like, such a pure feeling. Like, when you're an adult, you have a bit more defenses. That's not good English, but, you've built up more of a, like, defensive wall around yourself, identifying as strongly with the things that you like. So if you, like, watch a movie and you really love it, or if you listen to a song and you really love it, like, I still get those experiences at 30, but it's not the same as when I was 16, because it's just like, oh my god, like, this Billy Joel is my psychiatrist. Like, when you're 30, he's not, but I mean,
well, I do.
So for you, this song has
for me, it's the other way around, because, like, as a kid, I would be, like, into Avicii and, like, everything that was, like, on trend. Just follow. You don't actually know what you really like. You just are influenced by what other people are listening to. But now it's like I choose my music, I have different types of playlists, and like you say, like, if I'm gonna go out, I put a reggaeton playlist. If I'm going through a heartbreak, I'm listening to Taylor Swift nonstop. Or even if I'm not, it's just I listen a lot to the lyrics, not only the melody, and obviously not.
So when did this become your song? Or
I would say, like, around 5 years ago, maybe. It's not recent, and every time I hear it, it's like I get a new insight from it. So that's why I keep it in my favorites.
Do you have a song like that?
Do I have a song like that? I'm trying to think. The first time a song that really appealed to me was "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson.
This guy loves Michael Jackson. We had a whole debate stoned in Amsterdam about whether Michael Jackson is equivalent to the Beatles, and we were like, all right, you're fucked in the head.
No, I would say he's quite close up there.
Exactly.
He's.
I maintain that my co-host is fucked in the head, which is why I'm being replaced by Lena.
Pretty much. See, that's what happens, guys.
Do not cross him. He's the president of the Startup Entrepreneurship Club.
Okay, so interesting. So there's a song that reminds you of just things that you should be doing, and it appeals to you because you're the kind of person who just gets very impatient and restless, and the song asks you to calm down.
Yeah. Slow down. You crazy child. Yeah.
On the same note, okay, so when was the last time you heard this song?
Like 3 weeks ago when I showed it to a friend back in India.
Oh, but that was just to show. When was the last time? You don't have to tell the moment and stuff? Was it any time in the last 3 months, and that'll be the segue into the next question. Anytime in the last 3 months you put on that song which is
I should have.
Oh,
I really needed it, but like I should have. I think I
You didn't pick the song.
no, I didn't. I didn't go for it during the last 3 months. There was enough noise around me to put some music.
And
I barely heard music in the last 3 months, I think.
oh,
Yeah. When I was working, but like hearing
But not-
Billy,
not
yeah,
this kind.
not like that.
not this guy. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that
I could,
brings-
yeah, I could have needed it, but
you could have used it. And the reason I ask it, and then that brings us to the second segment of the show. You want to introduce the segment or?
I choose the first one. You can do the next.
Okay, cool. So we have, if the fans have forgotten what the show is like, since or you all have been watching an episode every day. So the second segment is the main segment of the show, where we give the guest 3 topics to pick from. One is family, relationships, love. Second is career, dreams and hopes and goals. And the third is you pick whatever topic.
It's a good topic.
It's a good topic.
yeah.
Insert here.
So you picked the topic of coming out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like that, if I could put it, is that a...
You can name it
I
however
can
you
name it
want,
that
yeah.
way. And the reason I asked you about the song and its significance over the last 3 months, because you really came out of your comfort zone, and there's a lot we'll talk about that, is that you went to India.
I went to India.
What was that like? For our Indian fans, like the millions and the billions of Indians watching the show, what was that like? The good, the bad, and the ugly and everything.
So yeah, I was in India for my internship at Infosys, Bangalore to be exact. I didn't know Bangalore existed until I had to put it on the map.
It does now.
It's almost like in the south, not that south, but you know, getting there.
You know your geography of India.
Yeah. And I was there doing an internship in tech consulting. The thing is, I had another offer on the table during the summer, and I had to decide if I would go to Mexico, which is what I know and you know where I want to head back after the MBA, or just try something completely different and go to India for almost 3 months. Obviously, I ended up going to India. However, the day I arrived, I was like, why didn't I go to Mexico? I was so, like, I regretted my decision at the beginning. I mean, obviously, right now, in retrospective, I'm, like, grateful I had the opportunity, and we can talk about, like, everything that I learned there. But in the moment, like, the first week, I was in so much shock, I couldn't even cry. I was like, why did I come here? You know, I'm so far away from my family. I try to order coffee, they don't even understand if, like, I'm asking for milk and they just have buffalo milk. It's like everything was complicated, you know, from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I had friends there, so that made it much easier, and I was able to, like, vent and...
People don't drink cow milk?
Oh, they do.
Well, it was hard to find it in Bangalore. Or, you know, you get used to, like, because I'm lactose intolerant, so you're like, oh, do you have...
Oat milk and stuff.
Not oat milk, but, like, lactose-free milk or, like, almond milk, and that doesn't... They don't do that there.
Maybe not in the cafeteria of Infosys.
Not in the... Yeah, and not in the supermarket.
Because if they were going to do it anywhere in Bangalore, you think it would be in the cafeteria.
No.
But even if... I would have
This
thought
is like
that...
a very old school cafe.
Yeah, I would have thought the same. Like, you know, they're so
No.
techy and modern and, like...
Bangalore, other cafes, there are hundreds.
You would need to go, like, into the city. So we were in Electronic City, which is...
Far away.
like an hour drive. It can be close in distance, but like with traffic, always at least an hour. And like if you go to the supermarket in the city, of course you have like normal things and any type of milk or whatever, but like in campus no. But getting back to like you know
milk aside.
arriving to
We were talking about milk for an hour and a half.
arriving to the campus and knowing like the woman's floor had security on every corner and like you couldn't mix up the rooms, or like if I was seen with Luca, who's my friend that was there with me, well, everybody knows Luca. It would be like you need to separate, like what are you doing, like you can have like you know Luca is so touchy, so people at the beginning thought that he was my boyfriend. And obviously I think the campus assumed too, so like if I would go hang out in his room, like the guard would come and be like, you can't be here, or like if I was sitting in the sofa.
Wait, they were policing what like 30-year-olds are doing?
Yeah, so like the women were very well protected.
That's weird.
And that was like, I think that was
it's weird even for like, I mean, that doesn't happen.
That was the first shock for me. Like, yeah, the food is difficult because like you eat it every day. You don't have like normal food that you're used to. Because you're, as you said, like in the campus, you don't have much variety aside from Domino's Pizza and Subway. And then also the language barrier, you know, they all speak English, but somehow
it's hard to understand.
They don't understand us and we don't understand them. You get used to the accent by the end, but
did you start using the word Anna?
No, I would be
Anna
like,
is like brother, like bro, like
I would be like ha. Like yeah, ha.
Oh, you learned ha.
I learned ha, and I learned the bad word thanks to Luca, but we're not gonna say it in this podcast.
Okay. I can say it. I mean, at this point.
So they interviewed me at the end of the internship, and they're like, "So how many words in Hindi have you learned?" I'm like, "I just know how to say bencho." And she's like, "No,
That's also the only word I know.
We cannot put that means sister fucker. We cannot put that in the Infosys video." I'm like, "Okay, teach me something," but I forgot everything she taught me. It's quite a hard language to learn, but that, and then obviously every weekend we were desperate to get out of the campus because we felt so like, you know, locked in. And the traveling experience within India is another thing. The first trip was like in a bus that we rented. We went to Hampi, and Hampi's known for its temples, and everybody was like so excited to go into the temple. And once I get in, I just see people are walking barefoot, and I'm like, okay, cool, but like I'm not gonna do that, you know. And they're like, no, you can't get into the temple if you don't take off your shoes.
Disrespectful.
And they're like, but you also need to take off your socks. And I'm like, what? And it was like dirt, you know? And people were coming already barefoot from the streets into the temple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way I'm going barefoot. So I had to stay outside while they went into the temple. And
Are you germophobic?
with my feet, yeah. I don't like looking at feet, and I don't like being barefoot, like even in my apartment.
Even in the shower?
No, in the shower, yeah. In my shower, not in other people's, yeah. So I'm outside the temple, and I just feel people going like, ma'am. And I'm like, yeah, picture, selfie. And I'm like, what? Why do you want a picture with me?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so like people started gathering, and I'm calling Luca, like, can you hurry the fuck? And he's like, we just entered, like, you need to wait a little bit. I'm not lying, like 150 people asked me for my picture. At the end, I would be like, let's do it by groups, you know? I'm not going to take a single picture with everybody.
Did you feel like a celebrity?
It was horrible. And then I went into a corner and like turned around and hid. And you just see people cornering me and be like, ma'am, picture. And I felt so bad.
For context, a lot of parts of India, I mean, India is a huge, big country, so the rural parts of India, when they're not used to seeing foreigners, right?
Yeah.
And when they see someone who is not Indian looking, for some reason, I cannot explain, I wish I knew the answer, they like to take pictures, and it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like if you go, you
would get so many pictures with your eyes, man.
With your eyes and that hair and the blonde hair and the white face. Oh my god,
White face.
Yeah.
You're going to be like the talk of the town. Everybody want to take pictures with you. So obviously, to see someone like Isa,
finally some recognition.
So like when Luca came out, I'm like, we need to like relevar. I don't know how to say that in English, but like you take care now. You start taking pictures because and it was like the first weekend, you know, it was so hot. The people were like super dirty and they would be like, thank you. And I'm like, okay, I need to not react because like maybe they don't know that I have a hard time like with, you know, not germs, but like being clean. And that was my first experience in India.
That was the first weekend.
Yeah. And then the second weekend, they're like, let's go to Munnar and in a sleeper bus. And I'm like, can we get there by plane? No. So we took...
can actually.
Yeah, but like, 3 hours to the airport.
You guys did all like the cheap stuff in it.
Yeah.
And
so...
like a lot happened in India.
So yeah, everything, like, of course, I was prepared a little bit mentally. Like, I had spoken to you and like other Indian friends that I have in ESA, and but like I had the pressure of my dad telling me like, you shouldn't be, like, what are you doing? You should have gone to Mexico, and like me kind of choosing India to go against him and to like prove him that I could do it, but then arriving and being like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, you know, and I can't go back now because then I would prove them right. So I like kind of stayed there to like prove myself and them, you know. But every day was like out of my comfort zone. I think the days working with the company, that was quite easy going. I mean, the accent or like the language is a problem, but people in India are super nice. Like I never really had a problem with the people, you know? It's just I get frustrated if I don't understand what you're saying or like if they don't understand what I'm saying. But like the people per se are super nice. They're very similar to Latinos. They love to party. They're like very they make you feel like home, you know? And I like that about it. But for 3 months it's a lot. It's intense. And there's a lot of smells, just like the spices, you know, like there's a lot going on and a lot of stimulation with the noise and the honking and the smells and the weather, that it was like,
it's a sensory overload.
Yeah, it was an overload. And I felt like when I went back into my room and I wanted to recharge, I was just going through like half of the experience I spent it thinking I shouldn't be here, because like my brother was getting engaged and he had like his civil wedding. All my family was together back home. People were like traveling and actually having a summer, and I felt like I was like not where I was supposed to be. So it was hard for me to enjoy it. But like then I tried changing a bit the mindset of, okay, you're already here. You might as well just take advantage of, you know, the people that you're meeting and the contacts that you're making, and that you're actually learning about a new culture. And I feel like I became a bit more tolerant and patient. Because that stimulation like kind of forced me into it.
Wow.
That's how Aryan felt coming here.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt in Barcelona.
Really?
No,
the smells.
No. But, so you described this is you coming out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, already being in IESE is coming out of my comfort zone, but like
going to India,
this was way like 1,000 miles away from.
How was IESE out of your comfort zone?
How was IESE? What do you mean? It's well, maybe you don't understand it. Let me paint the picture for somebody that doesn't come from like business school or engineering. But like coming into IESE, I suffer a lot from anxiety, and that gives me social anxiety. Maybe because I like to party and stuff, you may think, oh no, she doesn't have a problem with that. But in my head, I'm really thinking about it. And I don't really enjoy doing things alone, you know? So like I have a hard time if I don't have like a security blanket or person with me. So coming to IESE was like getting out of my house, living with new people, meeting 350 people, having to like try to be yourself around them, and then finding out what the fuck you want to do with your life, applying for jobs. All of that was out of my comfort zone. And then India. You don't feel it's out of your comfort zone?
No, I just wanted some clarification.
And the classes were hard for me because it's like I had never learned about, like I had a few, the basis of it, like because I studied hospitality and management and a bit of business into it, but it's like very basic. And like for me, I was actually learning new stuff every day, and that was overwhelming, I would say, yeah.
So now, having put yourself through 2 experiences that are out of your comfort zone, what is, so like where does this, so like I know a little about your life, that you come from a big family in El Salvador. Also, she is the only one from El Salvador, which is quite a big feat.
Yeah, no new people from El Salvador this year either.
I think that, oh really? So that's pretty cool, like being the only one from one country. And you know, it's a country that like not many people know about. You know, like I mean, obviously we know about El Salvador. It's been in the news recently. So you come from this country. You come from a big family in the country. Like how do you? For me, it's very hard to be, because I'm Indian. When I go around, there's like an Indian everywhere. So does that make it very uncomfortable for you, being the only one from like that one country, and you can't just find anyone who's like that, or the big family is the factor? Like what is the? Oh,
it's well, so big family. I have 6 siblings. It's a really big family and a lot of cousins. I would say both. Obviously, at the beginning, like I wasn't going to be part of a specific club.
Yeah.
Because I would be the only
one.
and we do have a Central American club, but it was like only 2 people in first year and like 3 people second year, and we didn't really do much activities together because so that's why, like, as I was telling you before, like, I actually feel sometimes more Mexican because my mom is Mexican and I lived in Mexico and I have the passport. That I was like, I'm gonna go into this club and like become part of like the Mexican club and go with my identity in that, because like if I would have stayed alone like from El Salvador, like I felt it would have been like the feeling of being an outsider, which I still do. Like every day I feel like an outsider, but like having people that when I introduce myself and I'm like, I wasn't born in Mexico, but I have they were like, no, you're a Mexican, don't worry, like join us. That kind of helped me, go through it a bit easier. But
so having a social group that you could belong to.
I still don't completely feel part of it, like myself. It's not that they don't make me feel part of it, they do. But it's just like hard for me to believe that I'm part of like a group. And I feel like with my family, I also always felt like an outsider, Like I would ask my mom as a child, like, are you sure I'm not adopted? Like I don't feel like I'm part, I just felt very different. And my dad has like a WhatsApp group with every child, because we have like the family group. But since we all live abroad now, he has one with every kid. And mine is called the Black Sheep in Spanish. Because everybody named like the smallest was like, oh, the favorite, because we all tell her like, oh, you're the favorite because you're the youngest one. And I would be like, okay, so I'm the black sheep, because I've always felt like that, and it can have its good things and its bad things. But like even within a big family and your own blood, like I still felt, like an outsider. Yeah. Because
in what way do you stand out from your siblings?
I stand in many ways. I would say I'm super outspoken. Like I say what's on my mind. I think it's also part of like I'm always in a rush. I don't really think before I talk. And I'm super emotional. So like I grew up being super emotional. I was like the first one to go into like therapy, and like I would always like talk about that in my house, and it was such a taboo topic that they would like always shush my feelings. And I feel like that makes me different than my siblings, that I'm like very emotional and I would say empathetic, and that I'm kind of like a rebel, like my brothers and my sisters would always do like what my parents would tell them, and I would be like, no, but like why? I need to know why you want me to do that, or like go against their word. So I stand out like that, and I feel like I haven't done exactly what my dad has expected me to do in terms of studying my career or like working in a certain place. So I kind of am always like on the contrast, but at the same time like expecting them, to be like okay with me being on the contrast. So that's why I think I consider myself, they've never actually told me, oh, you're the black sheep. No, but like,
but you think
if I compare myself to my siblings, I'm always the one doing things different. And even now, like half of them are married and the other half are engaged, and I'm like the only single one like not doing what is expected of me right now at my age. And it's like I feel like their path has been very similar. They've all studied the same thing, they've all been in consulting, they're like, and I'm just like actually doing
your own thing.
So
but do you find any, so there's two ways to look at being different. One is you are weirdly different, you just don't fit in, and the other is that you're special and you're unique.
So I would say for about 28 years I felt weirdly different,
But
like
now you feel
in a bad way. Obviously I've done the work and it's a constant, progress, but I think the most powerful thing is how you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
And so lately I've been trying to like kind of change the narrative or the conversation of like you're different but in a good way, and I also like try to identify it on things that people say to me, like when we're going through a hard time like with my family, like I identify that my dad is like grateful that I take the time like to talk to him, and maybe I don't see that with my siblings, so now I see the good things of being different. And I try to like stay with that instead of like, because when you come from a big family, it's a lot of noise, like India, and it's people not paying attention to you and like you trying to speak up and like stand out. And at the end I started standing out without even not trying, but like I kind of stood out in my own way. And I feel like now I try to see the positive of, okay, I do feel part of my family, but I don't feel like the same as them, but it's okay. Like it would be quite boring if
you were exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying my siblings are boring, they can be, but it's I think it's a benefit to it now that I've learned to see that before I struggled with, I would say.
But it's interesting as well because it kind of goes back to the thing we started talking about with the music. That when were a teenager or a kid, like you wanted to listen to what everyone else is listening to.
Yeah,
so I think that's a very, it's a very childlike trait because you don't have like a very fixed personality yet, so you just kind of look around you to see people to emulate. And then the older you get, the more you kind of, I mean, there are exceptions, but I think the more you wish that you had something like special about you. So for everyone, it kind of takes time to appreciate the things about themselves to make them different. Even if when you're like 16, you're like, man, fuck, like I wish I was just like a popular kid, like doing what everyone else is doing. But then when you're like in your late 20s, you've had time to realize that that would be not you, so why?
And I think what helped me was like the process of getting into IESE, because they make you talk about you. And I get a hard time like trying to say good things about myself, but you kind of need to sell yourself when you're getting into IESE. Like tell them the good. I mean, obviously they ask you about your weaknesses and whatever, but you're not going to start talking about trauma to them. So like for me, it was like working on, okay, what good things do I have and how do I sell them? And it's like, believe it, you know, fake it till you make it. So I feel that's when I started to like turn a bit around the conversation.
It's very true. It's exactly on the lines of what you said. Like every time I've quit a job, which has been once, is when I realized that I'm just like someone on my right, someone on my left, someone in front of me. We're all wearing literally white shirt, black pants, sitting in front of a laptop and a computer, and I'm no different than anyone else. When we are young, we want to fit in, we want to be like everyone else. The older we get, we just want to be a bit different. Maybe not everyone has that mentality, but a lot of people who have that mentality kind of struggle to fit in because they want to be different, and just by virtue of being different, you struggle to fit in.
Yeah.
And then you come to a realization that you don't have to fit in. You could still be part of a society by being different.
Yeah.
And like me and my brother, for example, are very different people. Very different, but we are obviously one family. Mm-hmm. And we don't... I would hate it if me and my brother were the same people. Like he's in the art field, he's the creative person. I'm this guy who...
Aryan is not creative at all, as we all know.
No. You creative? Come on.
Okay, this episode is about me.
We should do one about the host, I think.
They are planning. So Jan wants to do an episode with you. Like we'll be doing an episode where we talk to you about it, and then it'll be me next. But I thought we should first we're not there yet. We're like, we want to know about Pavel and Aryan. Like we've done 8 episodes, and like we can't have after 8 episodes hey, let's do one about us. But anyway, getting back to the point. So now that you've been through all of this, like you've come out of your comfort zone, come into IESE, leaving your family in El Salvador, being the only one from El Salvador, then you go to India, where I'm pretty sure probably you're the only El Salvador citizen in all of India.
Yeah.
Well, must have an embassy, right?
No.
I doubt it.
I don't think they do.
So, isn't that... Okay, maybe easier for me to say that I would feel super cool about it. Like, fuck, I'm the only one from this. Like, I went to this festival now in Amsterdam, and it felt like for the first time I was the only Indian. I felt super cool. I'm like, man, I'm the only Indian. And anybody would ask me, where are you from? I'm like, India. I'm like, oh shit, you're from India. And then, because I was the only Indian. Don't you feel that? Don't you feel like, fuck,
I mean, I feel India's more on the map than El Salvador.
Exactly. But it's rare for me to have these moments where I feel special because I'm the only one. But you have this every other day because there's not a lot of places where they...
No, I wouldn't say I always feel like you felt in Amsterdam because like the first thing they ask me is about my president, and that's like a very sensitive topic for me. Mm-hmm. So like the excitement of them being like, oh, you're from El Salvador, and then them asking me about it's like...
That's the only thing they know about the country.
Exactly. So that's why I'm telling you it's a bit different than like, oh, you're from India. You know, people see your culture.
Yeah, but... like,
they don't know shit about mine. So it's like...
So what is the culture of El Salvador, if you have to tell us? What is... Forget the president.
I would say it's a bit similar to India. We're very warm people. I'm not talking about just me, because I tend to be... I have a resting bitch face, so don't think about me as the representation of my country, please.
Everyone looks angry all the time.
No, they don't.
Listen to Billy Joel.
They are depressed and drinking on a Wednesday. No, but...
I'm not depressed. I'm just drinking on a Wednesday.
Yeah. So tell us about the culture of El Salvador. Tell us.
I would say people are super warm. Like,
okay.
You know how sometimes you can go to a country and like start a new job and like try to make friends and you feel left out, or like it's very difficult to get into a clique in El Salvador. Obviously you have like the small bubble of like society, but somehow they can still make you feel welcome. So I feel like that part of the personality or the traits of the people, it's not a stereotype. It's actually, you know, quite true. And it's a very warm country also, like in weather. It's very humid and it rains a lot and it's very green. So like when I was going to these places like the South or like Munar or Covalam, I was like uploading pictures and my friends were like, are you like in El Tunco, which is a beach like near my house? And I'm like, no, of course not, I'm still in India. But like it's so similar, even like in like the tropical area, the landscape, that like I kind of felt like identified with that part. But yeah, people are really nice. We have the famous traditional dish, which is called pupusas. It's a horrible name. Pupusa. So it's like an arepa, but it's closed. And it has cheese always, and then you can add beans or like chorizo or different stuff, and you eat it with red tomato sauce, and like a certain type of coleslaw.
Do they have it in Barcelona?
Yeah, we have a few places. I have a funny anecdote, because first year, like for our team dinners, like everybody would take the team to their nationality restaurant, and I took them for pupusas. But the owner was wasted, so like he was super drunk. The pupusas came cold. He didn't have like everything, and so he was wasted. He was drunk, and so he would come up to us like we were just eating, having a normal dinner on a Tuesday, and he would be like, "Oh," in Spanish, you know, saying to like the group, "So you don't say hi to me just because you think everybody from El Salvador is a marero, which is a gang member?" I'm like, guys, I would like to say this is not El Salvador, but it kind of is. And he was super offended, but he was wasted, and apparently he has a drinking problem because it has happened to other friends. But it was a very unique.
But people still keep going to this restaurant.
You need to go to the restaurant, find this drunk.
He was wasted. But that was a unique experience with the pupusas.
But that's not the culture of El Salvador.
No.
That's not the culture. Okay. And so now, do you think? Are you less scared of coming out of your comfort zone? You've done everything, like I don't know what.
No, I feel like
a zone line has like expanded.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always looking for. Once I'm out of my comfort zone, I hate it. But like once I'm back into it, I'm like, I need to find a way.
What is a comfort zone? I mean, at this point, you've done so many things. Like
I can't stand still. So like if I'm in a job or like doing something where I'm like, it doesn't take me an effort, or like I'm good at doing it, or I don't know how to explain it, but like it's not challenging me, even like in relationships or like friendships. And I would say my dad is calling me, sorry. And I would say like and it's also, I would say, a toxic trait sometimes, because it's like you're trying to find excitement and challenging, and sometimes it can go the wrong way. So when I don't feel that adrenaline, I'm always like looking for things to like, because I feel when you get out of your comfort zone, you're like in the unexpected and the unknown, and like you kind of need to learn your way through it. So that part, that, you know, anxiety and like learning how to get good at something is what I like look forward to, or I crave, even though in the moment I feel like, why are you doing this? Because if not, I feel like that's the only way we learn, you know.
It's like, I can't remember specific names, but I've heard that quite a few like famous established actors started off being like really shy and timid and like afraid of public speaking, and then people encourage them to get into acting to like learn how to express themselves. So you kind of have to like, if you have this fear, you kind of have to overcompensate, probably.
So I would also take it as that, because I started like, instead of doing New Year's resolutions, I started to like identify fears and confront them. And I did scuba diving because of that. I hate scuba diving. I'm so scared of it.
Yeah, didn't you go like when we started the MBA? I remember actually.
I did go.
Was that the first time?
I had already gotten my license back home, because I was gonna go on a Mexico trip, and I was like, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna scuba dive. And the classes were like super intense for me, you know. Just being down there and not knowing if I'm going to be able to breathe or if I'm going to complete. It's super safe to scuba dive, but like your mind is very strong.
100 best dives.
Yeah. And so my first actual dive out of my classes was in Tosa del Mar in Costa Brava with Akshay.
You did that to do something that you are scared of.
And I was scared because I didn't know anybody that was going. Like, I was going with new people. And then I was scared of actually scuba diving. And I get my gear and everything, and I hear a sound in my, like, tank, which is, like, air coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling, like, the guy, like, there's air coming out. And he's like, don't worry, it happens. And I'm like, no, there's air coming out. He's like, it's okay. Obviously, half my tank was, between me breathing really fast, like, down under, because you need to, like, be calm, and me, like, moving my legs, I finished my tank, and we weren't even halfway done with the first dive. So I had to be connected to the guide's tank and, like, hold his hand. And, I got through it, but it was super scary. So I started doing that, like, identifying a fear. I would say this year's resolution was India. I don't think I'm going against any other fear for the near future.
Is there a word, you know how masochist is a word for a person who likes pain? Is there a word for someone who likes fear?
I don't like it, but I know that if I don't overcome it, like, I'm going to stand still.
Yeah, but then the thing is, like, at least I feel like in life you're never going to be not fearful.
No, of course.
So is there a word for it? For someone who just, like, likes fear and just, like, oh. It's an adrenaline. I always struggle to.
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
I mean, adrenaline junkie is kind of that, right? Like,
Adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
No, but then there's, like, the adrenaline junkie of people, like, going skydiving or, like, jumping, bungee.
It's the equivalent of you just doing things which is like, okay.
I find it like a coping mechanism for my anxiety.
Or like people who find horror movies scary, but they still love watching horror movies because they need that, like, catharsis of, like.
Yeah, maybe.
Pretty much like that.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, your life is defined by you will never stop doing things that you're scared of.
No.
Because that is how you want to live your life.
Because if not, it's boring.
So,
of course, I complain half of the time. I need to learn how to stop complaining.
What you're doing in life, you're having fun. I feel like you're having fun.
Yeah.
You're just doing this because you're enjoying this. You go to India, you're traveling in a bus, you go scuba dive with half a tank. You're doing all these things because you're enjoying it, you're having fun.
With my friend, we say, like, doing it for the plot, So you just gather stories, and at the end of the day, like, you have something to tell, I would say.
I think that's why a lot of people do a lot of things. It's like, you want to have something to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps, like, build up who you are,
Yeah.
Because you're not just doing what everybody's doing. You're kind of making your own way.
I can relate. Like, I think it was the same for me coming to the MBA, like, leaving the comfort zone of London, where I was, like, for my whole adult life, and then, like, new country, new language. And now getting to the US is, like, I think it was a bit uncomfortable coming here, but now it kind of...
It's the same feeling.
Exactly. It's a bit nerve
wracking.
Yeah, well, racking is a bit strong, but, like, nervousness inducing. But, like, it's also exciting, right? Because it's, like, new people.
Yeah.
It's like... Every time, even though we're like adults and we
Mm-hmm.
should be able to process this kind of social anxiety better, there's always a voice in the back of our head going like the kid in the first day of school, like, what if I don't make any friends? What if nobody likes it?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like, you've made enough friends in your lifetime to know that people do like you as you are, but you still
have that.
Yeah.
That little devil.
But you need something to bridge the gap, which brings me next to our next topic.
Which is?
I want to try the mezcal.
So yeah, your first show and tell.
So I've tried mezcal before, but apparently there's a new method. Not a new method. A method that's new to me.
You need to learn.
He says gonna demonstrate it.
So when you say, like, oh, I like mezcal, people are like, why do you like that? It's so strong. It's like a smoky tequila, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, it's way better than tequila. I can't breathe tequila. I've had too much of it in my life that I throw up.
But the good mezcal is like...
So the mezcal is actually not a drink that you shot, like, directly.
Mm-hmm.
Tequila isn't, or shouldn't be, but people now do it.
This drink.
But you drink it, like, in a shot glass.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to chill it or anything. You can just drink it like that. And you take little sips. You can, like, kiss the mezcal. And I was trying to show you before.
Kiss the mezcal. Please show it again so that we have it on record.
You can drink from the flask, okay?
Thank you.
You're the alcoholic. So. Salud.
Cheers to that.
Do you want some?
I will taste for sure, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'll
after
the flask, yeah. So, okay.
So I can't talk and try it at the same time.
No,
so
you kiss the mezcal.
What you do is you kiss it with your lips and you sip a little bit, and then you put your tongue into the roof of your mouth.
So you go full French on the mezcal.
Yeah, you go full French, and that's why I like it. And then you. And then
I'm starting to feel you could put any drink there and you're gonna like it.
And then you.
If I'm gonna French kiss a drink, then
You savor it a little bit, and then you swallow it.
Okay, we're still talking about the mezcal.
And then you breathe.
I have an idea for a new drink. It's called French Kiss.
And then you breathe in. No, wait, yeah. You breathe in, and then you let it out, and then.
So kiss, tongue, swallow, breathe out.
Actually, I think it's first breathe and then swallow. If that makes sense. Swallow and then breathe out. Yeah. And then you take the second drink, and you'll feel like your mouth is accustomed to the mezcal.
I'm not gonna do it, but in my head I just had a very funny image of you just downing this.
You're not.
Just like detailed explanation.
You're not walking back if you swallow that.
Okay, cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Kiss it. He's just down in the drink.
No, I took very little.
You didn't breathe out. You didn't breathe in. Okay, whatever. It's fine. You're still
He made a
gonna.
mistake, so you could take another sip.
It's. You can try it.
Okay, so I kiss it.
Okay.
You like it?
I like it.
It's a good
But
mezcal.
I usually breathe out before drinking spirits, not breathe in. Because if you breathe in, then
Before drinking, yeah, but then
yeah,
I've never done the breathing thing while drinking. It actually.
it helps.
this is just for the first taste. Don't do it every time you take a sip.
No, yeah, but it's because I've tasted.
It's kind of like. I mean,
It is nice and
I've had
smoky.
mezcal before, but like, do you like smoky Scotch whiskies? Like, you know, there's certain types of Scotch that are very
like
like.
peaty.
Yeah.
I like whiskey, but I don't think I've tried like smoky.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you like it
We'll have to
because
try
it's
it.
very, very similar
Yeah.
profile. I like it. Interesting.
Nice. Thank you.
Which
So-
is ironic because the flask is from Jose Cuervo, which is tequila, but let's ignore that.
You kiss.
And we usually drink it with like
It's the most action our inside of it.
Now you see why I like mezcal.
So you know why it's been replaced Tabalino, right?
I can't be kissed, but I have mezcal.
You couldn't have gay men in your room, but you could have mezcal to
This is
make
the
out.
closest I'll come to a Latina. This is the closest I'll come to a Latina. It's this fucking little short glass of mezcal.
This is the actual show and tell. So there's a story behind this. I don't even know what it's called. Can you tell me? It's a bowl for me, a musical bowl.
Yeah, so it's a sound gong. It's called. It's used for sound therapy.
Yeah. So back home, one of my best friends, like her husband had brought it back from India, and like we would always like get high at her apartment, and like while we were drinking and like I would always try to do it, and I never attained. I couldn't. You know, it was impossible.
You do it now?
Even sober.
It's their technique.
Yeah. So.
Need to do it.
So I got to this was in Jaipur, I think, no, or in Agra, I don't remember. And I had seen them all along. I'm like, I want to take one home, but they're so heavy, and I had no space. At the end, I ended up like bargaining and getting a good price, so I bought one
The Indian way.
because I was able to do it. So like I was like, you need to keep trying, you know, until I felt like until I was in India, I had the ability to do it, you know. So it's like not being able to do something and then getting it right was really nice. So I'm like, I need to buy it.
Okay.
I'm just scared I won't be able to do it here.
Can you do it now?
So at the beginning, I would be like touching it and then doing it, and then the guy at the store would be like looking at me like, you don't need to bang it like that. You kind of you put it on the palm of your hand.
It
Don't.
has to be silent.
Yeah.
Then-
It's okay. If you fail, we'll edit it out.
And I'm nervous. It's not working.
So it's like one of those things where you play like the glass with the water.
Wait. Do you think it's just in India that I'm able to do it?
No, maybe.
The humidity of the air is different.
But that's what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it can help. So you see how it's increasing? So that's my souvenir from India. Maybe you can do a better show and tell.
I've used it like once. So one of my friends, she does sound therapy in Thailand.
Apparently, if you do more than 8 rounds, you get a husband or a wife. That's what Luca would tell me.
I already made out with mezcal right now, so.
But you don't get to choose where it's the house.
Oh, you can do it without banging it. Sorry.
We're still talking about that.
Yeah.
Full circle and things you've learned. You've been through a journey. If now, at this point of your life, this is the last question of the podcast, I ask you, you've seen it all. After seeing all of this, what would you say is the meaning of life? Is that it? That's the meaning of life. Smoke. She disappears. She just.
There's not enough smoke to disappear. I'm sorry. It's a hard.
Smoke also has like sound waves for some reason. Okay, so what is the meaning of life?
I mean, what is it? I think I'm still figuring it out.
If you had to say something.
For me?
Yes. For you, of course.
Because of what I seek and like what I look for.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound really cheesy.
No,
I'm not a cheesy. Well, sometimes I am, but not on purpose.
There's no cheesy answer. I think there's only your answer.
For me, it's to love and to be loved, and I think it's quite related. Obviously, coming from like my religion and Catholic and whatever, but like also like on a completely different level, it's just to like, and it comes back to that, to being accepted, you know, and forming part of like a community or like a group of friends. It's just to love, but like you need to love yourself and then be able to like give that love to other people. And it sounds easy, but it's very hard, you know. Obviously we love our friends and we love the people we get infatuated with in our family and our dogs and whatever. But like if you come to a situation where like you have somebody that you don't really click with or you don't really get along with, how do you handle that, you know? Does your ego come in first, or like you're actually a nice person because you don't know what they're going through, and they also deserve to be loved in the sense of you just being kind. So I think, I don't know, we all have an impact on what we do. We don't realize it that much. I'm pretty sure like people in India don't know the impact they had on me, and maybe I don't know the impact I had on the person that wanted to take a selfie with me, you know, but it's just to like remind myself, it's just to love and to be loved. We're all seeking for love. If you think about it, it's the ultimate thing that we're looking for. So I would say that's the meaning of life.
Wow.
What do you think?
No, we don't answer these questions. But you know what you said is very similar. You should. So Einstein wrote a letter to his daughter.
Einstein had a daughter?
Einstein fucked.
He had time? Maybe he tried mezcal.
So he wrote a letter to his daughter, and he asked her to open it only after he died. And I think after a few years after he died, something like that. And she opened it, and all he spoke about was this part, that I was trying to solve the mysteries of the world and the universe and
relativity,
light and gravity and time and all of these things. And he said the most fascinating thing that he found in all of it, and he realized very late, was love. And he said the same thing, that a lot of the meaning that he was trying to find, love is like the one object or one thing that exists in the world which is the true meaning of why we exist.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it like when I see my nephews, because I think of them as like the purest form of, obviously I've experienced relationships and love within, but I haven't found like the one, so I can't say like the actual meaning.
Yeah.
But like with my family and my nephews and like people that are related to me, like when I see them, it's like I cannot explain. My heart just bursts, you know, of love. And like if I could feel that every day when I see them and like I'm with them and making memories, that for me is life. Like I don't need anything else than just to have that feeling with my nephews, with my kids, with whoever, you know, and to make other people feel like that.
Interesting.
So
You said the one. Do you believe there's like one person out there for everyone, or what do you mean by the one?
So at the beginning,
Smoke.
no, I don't mind answering this. This one is easier.
No, but you answered that previous one really well, so you set the bar high.
I would say, like, watching movies and when you're a kid or whatever, you believe there's only one person for you, and like now you stop to think about it. It's like, of course there's not.
Statistically speaking, doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make it. Like, how will I like? You can't find them. You know, he might be living in India or in China.
Could be one of the people asking for a selfie.
Yeah, but I feel like we can click and connect with a lot of people. Sometimes timing and priorities don't work in our favor, and I don't feel there's just one person for us. There could be a few different. We will never meet all of them.
Yeah.
But I do believe in like sticking with that one person for a lifetime. I don't know if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I find a person that I click and like connect, even though I know there's others that I could also click and connect, like I just believe in being with
At some point you have to lock in your choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Press the green button that they do on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You
Yeah,
don't get to,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Do you believe in the one? Is your girlfriend the one? Oh shit! Erase. It can rewind.
Yeah, we can.
Do you believe in the one? Yes or no?
I don't know. I'm tempted to think not, because I think that so much of what makes love and relationship work is what you put into it.
And choosing the person.
And yeah,
Every day.
Exactly, every day, right? It's not like, I think Hollywood teaches us that once like you've chosen the person,
everything is perfect.
and then like you moved, maybe like there's some ex-boyfriend in the way that has to be like disposed of in some way, and then like once that's gone, like that's it, happily ever after. And in reality, relationships are the exact opposite. I think like most people don't have that many obstacles to getting together compared to Hollywood, but then they have a lot of obstacles to staying together, which you don't really see in
the movies
that much.
You always want the second part of the movie to see did they make it or not.
I mean, it depends on the movie, right? Like Bond always gets with a Bond girl, and then next Bond movie is with a new Bond girl. So what do you think like their breakups are like? That'd be interesting.
That'd be a good
The conversation.
How does Bond break up?
I don't think he does. I think
Trying to smoke.